feel free to pop into the comments, say where you're from. If you're somebody who's actually received a proclamation this year, share that, please. We'd love to hear about it. We're really excited to have you with us today. And as people start to join, we'll get rolling here in just a minute, but we'd love to see who's here, who's joined us today. To give you a sense of where we are, so my name is Mary Margaret. I'm the Chief Mission Officer for Pet Partners. I live outside of the Seattle area in a town named Duval. Brandon, where are you from in the world?
Hi, everybody. My name is Brandon Fuller, and I'm here in Washington, D.C.
And Tim, where are you from in the world?
I am from the state capital of Kansas, known as Topeka, right smack dab in the middle of the country.
So see, we've got East Coast, West Coast, and right in the middle. We've got some people joining. Reno, Nevada, welcome. Arizona, I bet it's sunnier than where I am here today. Bellevue, Washington, not far from me. Welcome, Gidget. We're glad to have everyone here. Today we're going to be talking a bit more about National Therapy Animal Day, which is coming up at the end of this month. April 30th every year is National Therapy Animal Day. It's a chance for us to celebrate all the important and amazing work that our therapy animals and their wonderful volunteer handlers do to promote human health and well-being. And so as we're going to get started here, I'm going to give a chance to let everyone introduce themselves. Again, my name's Mary Margaret Callahan. I'm the Chief Mission Officer for Pet Partners. I don't have any therapy animals of my own. I am literally the cobbler whose children had no shoes. We do have lots and lots of wonderful pets, but none of them are as well trained and as well qualified as many of our wonderful therapy animal handlers. Brandon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Brandon Fuller, and I'm the owner and chief strategist for Raise the Roots. And we are a digital consulting firm that works with great nonprofits like Pet Partners, helping them to organize their grassroots advocacy initiatives and engage their supporters online. And we don't have any therapy animals either. We just have a beta fish named Scale.
And Tim, feel free to introduce yourself. You're our volunteer guest here today.
Thank you. My name is Tim McHenry. I live in Topeka, Kansas. I have been a partner with dating back to 2007. My current partner's name is Cheyenne. She is a almost 7-year-old lab and Great Pyrenees mix, and together we've amassed a little over 500 hours between Kansas City and the Topeka area, which is about an hour apart.
Fantastic. That's a wonderful picture of you and Cheyenne. Thank you for all your amazing volunteerism over the years. So you were obviously with Pet Partners before National Therapy Animal Day was even an event. This is a fairly recent event that we've started to celebrate. And while we could celebrate amongst ourselves, right, and certainly talk about National Therapy Animal Day, one of the things that we do as part of celebrating that is working with our grassroots advocates to help people understand the importance and the value of therapy animal volunteers in their own communities. And I think it's safe to say that people who have benefited from visits from people like Tim and Cheyenne have a lot of gratitude and oftentimes a lot of joy around those interactions. But what we wanted to do was work with someone like Brandon and with our many volunteers to help reach out to lawmakers and make sure that they understood what therapy animals are and some of the amazing impacts they can have. So one of our grassroots advocacy activities, and you can find the link to this on our Pet Partners website in our advocacy tab, is that we invite everyone, whether they're a therapy animal handler, whether they are someone who has benefited from a visit or has a family member who maybe has benefited from a visit, and also the professionals who work with therapy animals as part of their vocation, are all invited to invite their local lawmakers on a municipal or even a state level to proclaim April 30th as National Therapy Animal Day. And what we've done is try to make this really simple. You can go to a link, click it. You have the opportunity to personalize an email, and our email system knows based on your home address who the right lawmakers to email are. So we try and take all the guesswork out of it for you. But the amazing thing is, many lawmakers are really excited to get these invitations to create a proclamation in their area. And so far, we've already gotten several proclamations before that April 30th deadline. Some are on city level, some are county commissioners. And we actually, right now, as of today, have 6 different states where the entire state is recognizing National Therapy Animal Day. So that includes Washington State, Kansas, Iowa, Massachusetts, Ohio, and Texas. So it's really exciting to have so many people do this. And sometimes people wonder, why would you invite people to do proclamations? What's the point? Our goal here is really about raising awareness of the amazing work that our volunteers do on a daily basis to improve lives in their community. But there's some important side benefits too, right? It's a chance to educate those lawmakers about the difference between therapy animals and service animals and emotional support animals who also do important work, but in a different setting. Also, and I think I'll have Brandon talk a little bit about this, from our advocacy perspective, it's a really great chance to build relationships with lawmakers that we may have the opportunity to build on in the future as legislation starts becoming, it comes up. So, Brandon, can you talk a little bit about proclamations, the process, and sort of why lawmakers are even interested in them in the first place?
Yeah, so just to back up a little bit, one of the things that we realized a couple of years ago was that Pet Partners volunteers were on their own reaching out to their local officials and state officials, asking them to proclaim April 30th National Therapy Animal Day. And it was getting pick up in local media, and people seem to be interested in this. And so we realized that this is something that people are excited to do, and that local and state officials are also really enthusiastic to support us with. And so we want to make the process easy and fun for all of our volunteers and advocates. So we created these pages where you'll fill out a few fields about your address, your information, but then you'll answer some questions like, how long have you been a therapy animal handler? What's the name of your team? Who do you work with? What kind of locations do you volunteer in? And all of those responses are then merged into this email that goes to your local city, county, and state officials. And so it's really personalized, and it says, here's my name, this is where I live, the city, the state, here are the great locations where I volunteer, here are the animals that I work with, who are members of my team. And so the whole idea is to create this personal approach to requesting these proclamations. And I think we really did the full push last year, and it was incredibly successful. I mean, we saw, I think, over 70 locations had proclaimed April 30th National Therapy Animal Day. And one of the things we also realized as sort of side benefit is that suddenly we had relationships with local mayors and county supervisors and county council members and city commissioners and state legislators who now were educated about therapy animals, understood the impact therapy animal handlers were having in their municipality, and we're familiar with Pet Partners and the work that we do. And so that suddenly we had these relationships established that we could use to expand access for therapy animal teams, protect therapy animal teams from teams that didn't meet the same good, strict standards that Pet Partners enforces. So to answer your question specifically, though, if you're a county commissioner or a mayor or a state legislator, it's very difficult to get laws passed. It's very difficult to do things to bring positive attention to the work that you're doing. And so a proclamation is an opportunity to very easily bring attention to great work, to build a relationship with people in your community who are doing good things, to get positive press. And so they're all very keen to promote this kind of work. And Pet Partners falls right in that sweet spot of, it involves animals, it involves veterans, it involves kids, it involves volunteers. It's happening in your backyard, in hospitals and schools. And so it's really a great thing for them to promote and to be associated with. And that's the real reason why they're supporting these.
Absolutely. And, we did last year during the lockdown, right? We're all in sort of pandemic mode. Visits weren't happening in the same way. It was a great opportunity to reach out to people digitally and invite them to help proclaim National Therapy Animal Day, recognize that on April 30th. But it is important to mention, and I've had this conversation with a couple of our advocates in the past, proclamations are something that's usually renewed every single year. I mean, Brandon, do you have any insight about sort of why that happens? I mean, I suspect Tim's going to be going back to Topeka next year asking for another proclamation. But if we've done it once, why are we doing it again?
Well, when you proclaim a day like National Therapy Animal Day, it's just for that year, and it's not like a permanent designation. So it's not like Veterans Day as a permanent designation for a federal holiday. It's just something that is being acknowledged on that one special day. So it's definitely not like a permanent declaration. But it's also important for us to remember that if you are a city council member or a mayor, you're probably an ambitious person who is looking to climb the ladders of our government. And so today's county commissioner is tomorrow's member of Congress. That's important to us for two reasons. Number one, there's a lot of turnover at local government levels. And so we want to constantly be enriching these relationships, building new relationships, staying in touch with these people. But also, if we can build a relationship and educate today's city council member, when we go to Congress and we try to get laws passed like the Pet and Women's Safety Act or the PAWS Act, it gives us a contact with somebody who we know there who's familiar with us and our work. And so we always want to be refreshing those relationships and maintaining them. And that's why it's so important that every year we fill out that form. It's very fun, it's very easy, and it gives us an opportunity to keep those lines of communication open.
Excellent. Well, let's hear from somebody who's actually done the legwork, right? Tim has had some amazing success in Kansas, and we would love to hear. Tim, can you tell everyone sort of how the process was for you, what the experience was like? I hope you found it fun and rewarding, and you're not going to tell me it was the worst thing you've ever done, but let's find out.
Absolutely not. And I'll tell you, this whole process has been made so simple by the hard work at Pet Partners. You provide a template, you send out an email well in advance of National Therapy Animal Day. The proclamations were forthcoming. It was just really a matter of personalizing it and putting a kind of a local twist on it. And then from there, it was sent off to our local government, both at the city level and at the state level. And I'll tell you, the governor's proclamation came out I received it in the mail a week after I submitted the proposal for it. So it didn't happen that quickly last year. So I think that speaks to the point made earlier about this needing to be an annual thing, and the process of resubmitting also refamiliarizes both state and local governments with what we're doing. And it's just kind of a nudge to say, hey, here we are again. Our good work continues, and it will continue in our community. It gives us an opportunity to speak to local media about new events that we're doing, expansions within our own therapy animal community. We're bigger, we're better than we were last year, and these are the new things that we're doing. So it continues to draw attention. We're celebrating both on a local and a state level. We were not fortunate enough this year to have an official reading by our governor. We were told the governor is a busy person. Of that, I have no doubt. And there just wasn't time to work that in. And maybe if I had gotten it in just a little bit sooner this year, I would have been able to get a reading. But we were able to get that done with the city. They brought along the media. And we were called up to the front. The mayor read through the proclamation. We had a chance to bring our therapy animals to the meeting and mingle with the city commissioners, as well as the mayor and the constituency that appeared that day. So it was a win-win. And they looked, as a matter of fact, several of them recognized us from last year and called out my dog by name. They had no earthly idea who I was, and that's fine. If you have an ego, therapy work is not for you. It's because it's really all about your animal and the magic and the wonderful things that they bring to the world.
Absolutely. That is so true that, this is, I would like to say that this is the day for our therapy animals to shine, right? National Therapy Animal Day. We want to recognize our animals. But frankly, anybody who's been on a therapy animal visit, either as a handler or as accompanying a team, knows the animal always gets to shine. We also recognize all the hard and important work that our handlers do, because as wonderful as Cheyenne is, I suspect she does not drive herself to visits. So we know that there's a lot of work that goes into making these events happen and bring those positive impacts that we see from therapy animal work. So National Therapy Animal Day is certainly about our animals, but also about our wonderful volunteers who make this possible in the community. Fantastic pictures. And you heard it here, folks. Tim said it wasn't that hard. A week later, he's got mail from the governor in his mailbox. If you're one of the people who have submitted a proclamation and you've heard back positively, do let us know in the comments or send us an email at advocacy@petpartners.org. We're compiling all of these. If you have a photo of the proclamation, you have a photo with you and your animal on the proclamation, whatever you have, we'd love to see them. We do share these out on National Therapy Animal Day and social media. We use them in our annual report and in our magazine. We'd love to see any photos that you have, so please send those along to us. We adore them. Well, I want to see if there's anyone who has any questions for my wonderful guests, Tim from Kansas and his therapy animal, Cheyenne, Brandon, who is our advocacy specialist. We are delighted to have so many people here. And it's not too late. Remember, you can still go to the Pet Partners website and submit a request for a proclamation. We've seen proclamations come from requests from people who don't even have their own therapy animal. You do not have to have your own therapy animal to help celebrate and honor the great work that Pet Partners teams do everywhere across the country in all 50 states. Let's see. Oh, it's nice to see some familiar names here. Hello, Diane from Tucson. Sherry, always nice to hear about you and Dog Barker. So let's see. Oh, we've got a question about how many proclamations have been secured so far. So I did mention at the top, we've gotten 6 that are statewide so far. Brandon, do you happen to know how many proclamations we've got right now?
The last time I checked, we had 38, which was today. I think we got 3 more updates today, and those come from 16 different states. Right now, the winning state with the most is Ohio, with 8 proclamations in Ohio. And then in Texas, it's 6. And I'm seeing the comment from Kristen that Bexar County in Texas was added today. So maybe we've got 7. So it's a close competition between Ohio and Texas. So if you haven't submitted yours yet, you got to get them in because we only have 16 states and that leaves many more, but it's still really impressive, the number that we've had so far. So 38 total.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Well, I want to thank my wonderful guests, Brandon Fuller from Raise the Roots, Tim McHenry from Topeka, Kansas. Thank you, everyone who's on today. We're so glad to have you. If you have questions, you're interested in doing more with advocacy, you're always invited to reach out to us at advocacy@petpartners.org. Visit our website. There's some other action alerts similar to the proclamation request that you can explore. But this is a wonderful opportunity for anyone who believes passionately in the human-animal bond.